Hey, how you doing? So today I'm going to discuss what I remember about going to corner school, nursery school, which was in Flushing, New York. We had lived there when I was very little, from 1962 to I think 1966, and we lived in Carlisle Towers in Flushing. I think that was like between like Casino and Main Street. So anyway, I have some memories about corner school. So the first day I went to corner school, um, on the right side of the building there were these monkey bars. Not monkey bars that were shaped like cube shape, but they were kind of rounded. Um, and by the monkey bars, I remember seeing a large bumblebee, a yellow jacket. And then my next memory is getting stung. I don't remember where I got stung, but I was crying, and one of the teachers had to drive me home. So I think she had a some type of station wagon. I was sitting in the back. She drove me home, and I spent the rest of the day in our apartment playing with one of those toys, battery operated toys, and whenever it hits a wall, it goes in a random direction. I believe it was a train. So that's what I remember. Now, I also remember, I think there were a couple of rooms that we used. In one room, around the edges of the room, there were different activities. And I remember two of them. One, on one side of the room, I think when you walked in on the right, there was this large, shallow sink, and I think there were like boats in it, but there was never any water in it. I don't remember ever using it. I remember that. Now the other memory is kind of strange, and I don't know if this is true, or if, you have to remember this is in the mid '60s, so I don't know if it's true or not. But there was, I think, on the opposite side there was like a woodworking kind of station, and they had a vise, and you could put a piece of wood, real piece of wood in the vise, and you could saw it with a real saw. Now, that would never occur among nursery school students, in today's day and age, for fear of lawsuits or whatever. Now, I remember that we were using a real saw. I can't tell you if it's true or not, but that's how I remember it. And then there was another room, I think, where we played with blocks and stuff. And I have one memory in that room of a kid who also moved to the same place I grew up. After we moved from Flushing, he moved to the same place on Long Island. I have a vague recollection of this kid, Eric, um, holding or walking across the room with one of those blocks, in the shape of a brick, good size, but it's made out of cardboard, so it wasn't that heavy. Um, and then the my one other recollection, well, yeah, my another recollection I have is when we would go to school or come back, we would come back on a bus, like a school bus. I don't really remember if it was one of those big buses or one of those little mini buses. I don't remember. I think it was a bigger bus, but I'm not sure. It may, and I remember uh, one day um, being in traffic on the bus and looking out to the left, and there was a house fire. There was a house on fire. It was one of those old buildings from, I don't know, maybe the 20s or 30s with large roofs on it. And you could see flames shooting out, from the roof. And to this day, that's the only time I've ever seen a fire actually going on in a house. Now, there's one other kind of recollection I have. I seem to recollect going, maybe after we'd already moved to Long Island, of coming back to Flushing and going to some type of kids activity or a play. I don't remember what it was, and recognizing another kid who I had gone to corner school with. So, I'm 62 now, so the fact that I can remember all this stuff, I think is pretty good. So, Yeah, this would have been, I was born, say, in 61. So, and I know that we moved from Flushing to Long Island. I think in 60, I was five in 66. So I would assume that what I'm remembering about Cornish School is probably from like 65, maybe, or 66. So, uh, anyway, I'd find it interesting to hear any comments you have below, and that's what I have to say about Cornish School.